For many living in the central plains of the Midwest, July often comes as a relief. The chaos of tornado season, the nervousness with which one watches every storm that rolls through, is winding to a close. But in Canada, the season is just reaching its peak. And it never reached a greater peak than the afternoon of July 31st, 1987, when a dull gray, half-mile wide tornado ripped through the eastern edge of Edmonton, Alberta. The tornado would leave 27 dead, which remains today that is the second highest tornado death toll in Canadian history. Today, the event is known in Edmonton as Black Friday. The final week of July 1987 in the Edmonton area was hot, humid, and severe thunderstorms were constantly flaring up every day. During the week, a low-pressure system sat almost stationary over southern Alberta, drawing in winds from the southwest and creating strong amounts of wind shear in the upper levels of the atmosphere. The image you see now is of an atmospheric setup for July 23, 2019, which is very similar to July 1987. The orange dashed line marks a surface trough, which the storms would have fired along and attached to in 1987. On July 31, 1987, at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, weather data from the Edmonton International Airport showed the temperature that day was 24 degrees Celsius, or just over 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and the dew point was 18.6 degrees Celsius, or around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This means that there was over 90% humidity. The air was thick, and in just 2 hours' time, it would be thick with death and destruction. On July 31st, a line of storms formed in southwest Alberta, creating a line from Saguenay in the northwest to Ponoka in the southeast. At 1:40 p.m. Mountain Time, a severe weather watch was issued for the Edmonton area as the line approached. By 2:45 p.m., a supercell thunderstorm had fired out ahead of the line and quickly dropped a thin little noodle of a tornado near Leduc, about 35 kilometers or 22 miles southeast of Edmonton. This tornado lasted only a few seconds, but it prompted the issuing of a tornado warning for Edmonton. The supercell advanced 4 miles north to Beaumont, where it dropped a violent cone tornado at around 3 p.m. The map you are seeing now marks the locations of Saguenay and Ponoka so you can get a general idea of where the initial line of thunderstorms were, as well as the location of Leduc for the first tornado and Beaumont for the second tornado. Numerous reports of the tornado that touched down in Beaumont were called into the Edmonton Police Department, but were not taken seriously at first because the officers did not believe a tornado could strike Edmonton. As the tornado raced towards Edmonton, and as it ripped through the city, it changed shape and appearance multiple times. At times, no condensation funnel was visible, only the debris cloud on the ground. At others, the main funnel was invisible, but the inner vortices were able to be seen, not unlike the famous dead man walking image of Gerald. However, the majority of the most famous images of the Edmonton tornado show the tornado in its fully condensed cone shape. This changing shape caused some dangerous confusion among the residents. In one video, the tornado starts off fully invisible, and a woman in the background denies there being a tornado at all, only for it to fully condense into the cone moments later.
It's not a tornado anyway, it's clouds now. The
tornado's gone. I didn't even get to get it on tape. Oh man.
The tornado first struck Edmonton in the Mill Woods neighborhood. In Mill Woods, 32 homes were damaged and 20 people were injured, some seriously, but no deaths occurred there. 4-inch diameter hail, the largest of the event, was recorded in Mill Woods along with the tornado. The tornado then entered the industrial area of Edmonton, known as Refinery Row. It came within a few hundred feet of destroying Edmonton's largest chemical plant and our power generating station. Damage within Refinery Row was rated as an F4 with 331 kilometers per hour or 206 miles per hour winds. Meteorologists who are watching the tornado from the Alberta Weather Center calculated that visible debris was traveling at 90 to 130 miles per hour around the tornado while it was tearing through Refinery Row. 12 people were killed in the industrial area, and there were reports of some pretty gruesome injuries, including one man who had a pole driven through his body. Chemicals spilled from the destruction of the industrial area leaked into the North Saskatchewan River, resulting in over a year of cleanup and exacerbating damage costs from the tornado. The tornado then moved on to the Clairview neighborhood. 463 homes were damaged, 37 homes destroyed, and 10 people were injured, but no deaths. Finally, the monster F4 tornado set its sights on the Evergreen Mobile Home Park. 170 mobile homes were destroyed over a 3-block wide path of destruction on the east end of the park. Some homes were completely disintegrated. Others were thrown atop each other, neatly stacked 3 homes high. 15 people were killed in Evergreen, and the tornado finally came to an end 5 kilometers, or just over 3 miles northeast of Evergreen. However, not all in Evergreen was devastating tragedy. Baby Kristen LeMay was ripped from her grandfather's arms by the tornado and carried over 300 feet away, but she was alive. She was discovered by a stranger and given to a woman named, this is a Greek name, so I apologize for the pronunciation, Marin Athanasopoulos. When Marin turned around, the stranger had disappeared. Police officer Bill Clark then rushed Kristen to the hospital, where she had to battle through brain swelling and injured lungs, but she pulled through, and as of 2007, was still living in Edmonton. In response to the disaster, the Canadian Weather Service, Environment Canada, created the Emergency Weather Alert System in Alberta, implemented in 1992. It was one of the first warning systems to use media outlets, like news stations, to directly broadcast critical weather information to the public. This is similar to the U.S. Emergency Alert System, or EAS. The Edmonton Fire Department also made some changes based on experience with search and rescue after the tornado. Every member of the department is now required to carry an emergency flashlight, though nowadays it is integrated into the helmet. Also, crews now carry tape to mark off areas already searched. Radio traffic during major emergencies is now more organized as well, as the fire department found it chaotic and difficult to communicate during operations in the wake of the tornado. The Black Friday tornado was on the ground for around an hour and traveled between 30 and 40 kilometers, sources varying the exact distance, and with maximum winds of 420 kilometers per hour, or 260.9 miles per hour, just barely leaving it out of F5 status, which is 261 miles per hour or greater. 2 satellite tornadoes, which are smaller tornadoes rotating around the main funnel, were not reported until 1995, 8 years after the tornado. They are rated F1 and F2 respectively, based on witness accounts. All told, the Edmonton tornado caused over 330 million Canadian dollars in damage, which is nearly 750 million today, and killed 27 people. It remains the second deadliest tornado in Canadian history, and the deadliest in Alberta, and let's hope it stays that way. In 1990, artist Barbara Eichner Shaw created a sculpture called Pillar of Love, which features a family huddling together in the tornado's wake. It serves as a memorial to the 27 victims of that nightmare day in July 1987, and you can visit it today at Hermitage Park in Edmonton. A moment of silence now for the tornado's victims.